Happy Monday. Welcome back to Retake the Week. It's going to be a special one today, because as we know, the Counter-Strike is kind of done for the year, at least in terms of big events, in terms of teams everyone's watching, the big news stories, all of that. It's not going to be about the Counter-Strike being played. We're sure about that. That's all done. However, it's prime roster mania season. There's plenty to talk about in terms of takes, people trying to do their end-of-year lists. I've seen some absolutely horrific attempts from some of you. Not going to name any names, but someone did have Torji at number 14 for the year. Pretty much a hate crime, especially considering he was above all of his teammates on Mouse. But yes, let's get to the actual main show, where we're going to talk about a lot of these sorts of topics, talk about the few little events there were, and of course most of our sort of content is going to come from the Rostermania. Some of it's been confirmed, some of it will be just pure speculation, but it will be interesting. It will be interesting, yeah, just to see what teams are actually trying, because there's a lot of implications, there's a lot of things that matter, there's a lot of skill to roster building right now, in terms of the moves you do want to make and those that you don't really. But yeah, before we get into all of that, we've got to thank the members who make all of this so awesome, who make it possible for us to put this all on audio platforms such as Spotify and Apple Music. So if you are a audio-only kind of nerd, you just hate the sight of our faces, that's where you can find it. Members also get access to the King's Court interviews, the BTS segments, which we usually do every Monday, but this week simply didn't take the time because it's already late and it's going to be a show. It's going to be a long show. Let's just do this. And then, of course, they get access to other live streams that are not usually available in terms of the VODs for members, are exclusive, and some other content when it drops. Sometimes there is just exclusive content for members that doesn't ever see the light of day. So yeah, that's everything. Quack, got something to promo? Tell us your Billy Big Bollocks this week. Like, what's going on?
Yes, we had. I put something out. I put out a collaborative article with HLTV on Fragbite yesterday. It's very quick. It was honestly a very quick thing, but you already know what it is because we've already done that many numbers. I don't really need to promo it, to be honest. But no, yeah, if you haven't read it, go read it. And there's some other stuff. Honestly, this is a weird thing to promo. We have a couple of sponsored articles from the Zoe part of Budapest, and I'm not paid to say this. I genuinely thought they were pretty fun to write, and I thought they were pretty interesting. So if you're wondering, like, how
you weren't paid to promo your own articles? Wow, that's
nobody paid
outrageous.
me to say it on this show anyway.
Never will.
I thought they were pretty interesting to write. They're a little bit longer, and if you're wondering, especially the second one, if you are wondering, if you ever heard something like, will Zoe collaborate with pro players to develop their gear? If you've ever wondered what that process is, like that development process, I had an interview with one of their lab researchers, which was super interesting. Genuinely, and the process, like the data they collect and the way they then use it is actually really interesting. So you should go read that. Yeah, I think that's probably about it. It's been a busy work week, but it's mostly been busy work. It's mostly been the news are happening.
It's been a busy work week. That's a good joke. I'll give you that one. That's pretty funny. For you, that's pretty fun.
It's been busy work. Like, the news need to happen. It hasn't been anything groundbreaking, except for yesterday. But we'll get onto that.
What happened yesterday? Oh my god.
We'll get onto that later. It is for the shuffle.
It is for the shuffle. You know, that's what roster moves are for. You know, these hoes are for the streets. These moves are for the shuffle. And we're going to get to that eventually, as we always do towards the end of the Eternal Shuffle. First, we're going to start with the little Counter-Strike that has been happening. Because there has been a little bit, just a little bit of Counter-Strike. And I'm going to just do a little roundup of the small cups that happened over the course of the last sort of 4 or 5 days. None of them particularly long. None of them with particularly high-ranking teams, but a few that you may consider significant. We're going to begin with the Roman Imperial Cup, or Imperium Cup, sorry, which has nothing to do with the city of Rome, but is hosted by Roman the player, or former player.
Had no idea.
Had no idea either, right? I think any of us assumed that. That's just a weird thing to be happening.
The word Imperium implies the Roman Empire.
Exactly, that's the reference. Okay. But, you know, whatever. It turns out
I guess
Roman
Portugal was the Roman Empire. Like, it's okay.
Probably a part of it at some point, right? Like, all of Iberia was inside of it, including the Portuguese. So, yeah, that's the reality of it. So most of the teams playing in this event are, of course, Portuguese. Saw, as you'd expect, but then, you know, everyone from Impulse GW, Family Chow, down to Wolf, who I'd never heard of. So yes, the lower ranking spots of this event's finishing spots, it's just all Portuguese with this one random mix called Nick, which it's just random people. Like, it's no big deal. Like, just a lot of mixed teams. It's a cool little cup for the local scene, I assume. Get those guys together, get them in the same room, have some chats, see what moves you want to make. Who shall now form the super team that is Saw, so that we can get another free playoff appearance from Uterus. But I don't think anyone really stood out that much. In the end, NIP end up winning with a pretty comfortable 2-0 run through everything. Every series they played finished 2-0. Even their best of one opening game was a 13-4. Pretty unbothered, untested, unchallenged. The only team with a legit tier 1 IGL, some legit tier 1 firepower, just everything you'd want from a team at a cup they have, even if they don't have all the pieces to necessarily go too far in the major. Unfortunately, they're way too good for this field. So, pretty easy win for NIP. Other significant teams in attendance, Gentlemates make a semi-final before getting crushed by the aforementioned Ninjas. Sharks come all the way from Brazil just to finish in top 4 as well, losing 2-0 to Saw. And Saw, as we said, made the grand final, lost their NIP. So yeah, no real big surprises in the end. This plays out about as standard as you can expect. All the random Portuguese teams rather that make the quarterfinals lose 2-0. But hey, I'm sure they had a great time. I don't know about you, Quack. What's the vibe usually like at these events? I know you've been to a few smaller local events. Have any of them had like an international team that's just a league above, comes in, smashes everyone? Like, has that happened to you?
No, I haven't. Not really. No, not really. We've usually been. The international teams have usually been able to measure up with the Swedish teams in attendance, which is more fun. Of course, to have more of an even fight. This event, I mean, look, there are some interesting implications for this event. The results, obviously not super interesting, considering it's mostly Portuguese teams. Like, I'm sure Portugal were somewhat excited about Famalicão and Impulse GW making the playoffs. There's probably some Portuguese people who think maybe that's an upset. Like, genuinely, what do I know? Like, what do we know?
Mean,
is this maybe that's a huge upset in Portugal? Like, maybe that's huge.
Yeah, Dust2.pt, where you at, man? Like, help us out. Is this a big upset?
The big dog favorites Rebels lost to Impulse GW, and maybe that's all the talk of the town.
Actually, it kind of should be, because I recognize some of the names on that Rebels team, like Nope.
Yeah,
J,
Rebels is like
Snappy.
Yeah. But it's also a new team. It's anyway. Maybe that's the talk of the town over in Vila Nova de Gaia, Portugal. But no, the interesting implications is that there were 3 teams in attendance who were playing for something big, which was Tier 1 Counter-Strike play, and those 3 teams ended up top 3. And the ordering at the time of the semifinals being played, it basically meant, if more or less, if SAW make the grand final, they're making IEM Krakow, and if whoever wins out of NIP Gentlemates probably makes Krakow as well. That's what it meant at the time, and that's basically what's happened. SAW and NIP was the grand final. NIP won. Both of them are with a couple of spots margin, with basically nothing left to play, in the correct spot they need to be for the January ranking to make IEM Krakow. So congratulations, thumbs up, cool for them. But there's one, actually Gentlemates made it in as well, and I don't have anything to say about the results of this event. I didn't watch a single second of it. I do not care very much about small local Portuguese lands. Gentlemates actually, as it stands, are also in Krakow, despite losing to NIP, because of the next event I assume we are going to talk about, which we honestly, for my money, we might as well move on to it, because that's a bit more of an interesting event.
Yeah, we can go straight to Draculan. Like, there wasn't much to round up. Let's be real. If there was a game to talk about, as in, like, if NIP got challenged by anyone, I'd have been shocked. We might have had some points of interest. But they kind of just crushed everything, as we'd expect. Ex-Casper Sky, MVP, nice and easy. I mean, for some reason, HLTV won't give him one. Outrage. I just don't want him on the top 20. It's all the conspiracy. HLTV, here's the thing. HLTV only assign their MVPs on the basis of how they want to, like, load their top 20. That's why, as we all know, ROPS didn't get the major MVPs, because they want to put Zywoo at number 1. With 2 major MVPs, they can justify it. Without the 2 MVPs, it'd have been tough. So there you go.
Yeah. That is exactly what's happened. But what happened in Draculan is that the favorites kind of fucked up. Basically, all of the favorites
massively
kind of
fire
fucked up.
everyone.
Yeah. The one that I paid the most attention to, and the one that actually had some big implications, is basically the only other team who were playing for Tier 1 play this weekend was Fnatic. And they, after winning their first game against GTRS barely, they lose to Cybershock, eventual grand finalists. And they make a little bit of a lower bracket run here. It's Mouse NXT, it's Lasercats, it's Illwill. These are teams that Fnatic should handily beat, and then they lose to Friendly Campers, which is previously ESC. On LAN, honestly, unexpected, because Friendly Campers have not had a good time on LAN, or when they were part of ESC. Online, I would have honestly said that, yeah, it's an upset, but it's kind of fair. This is on LAN, it's a little bit of a fucking travesty, to be honest, for Fnatic. But it's also a travesty, because basically what they just had to do is do well enough at Draculan to take Gentlemate's Krakow spot. That's what should have happened. That's why the semifinal was between NIP and Gentlemate, who makes Krakow, because it was expected Fnatic would actually gain points from playing Draculan and beat Gentlemates. But that's not happening anymore.
Wait,
so
they've actually lost points. Oh,
they lost 11
they
points.
Lost 11
from
points
playing
and one
Draculan.
spot.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yes. And they were basically the only team in attendance who were close enough. I mean, look, okay. Numbers-wise, some crazy VRS implication maybe could have meant that ENCE got a Krakow spot or Inner Circle or something. I don't know. But Fnatic were basically the guys who were probably supposed to win the event even. And if they did, they'd probably pip Gentlemates for the Krakow spot. But they didn't. So as it stands, Gentlemates do still have that Krakow spot, which is probably the most interesting part globally outcome out of these two LAN events. But we did have some other upsets as well, and some other big flops, really.
I mean, ENCE by themselves, like we talk about Fnatic, ENCE end up in the lower bracket pretty quickly with a loss to Friendly Campers, and then lose to Lasercats to go home. Like that's bloody rough. Like you should not be losing that series, lads. I know you won Dust 2-13-0, and you can take some sort of what's it called?
Solace in that, yeah.
Yeah, some solace in the fact that you smash them on one map and you end up with nice ratings. But Lord above, how do you lose to these guys? They're nobody. And I don't mean that to be... It's incredibly disrespectful. But I don't mean to be disrespectful. It's just they are laser cats, for crying out loud. You should not lose this game. Never.
No, never. Laser cats are... No, it is... I don't even think it's disrespectful. They are a bit of a nobody team. I don't know any of these players. And... yeah, ENCE, but it's also sort of the story of ENCE at this point. I think ENCE are sort of they're at the Gamer Legion point of the graph, which is when we stop talking about ENCE, because at this point we expect them to end up in the lower bracket and lose to somebody who is complete no-namers. That's like so, you know, when somebody asks us, why don't you talk about Gamer Legion's huge failure? And I'm just like, no, I did expect them to go out 1-3 in this event, despite being a top 15 side. That's exactly what I expected to happen, and it did. It's the same thing with ENCE now. I don't have any expectations about this team anymore. Like,
I mean, I do.
It's sad,
but yeah, I see what you mean. But I do have expectations. Last Draculan, they were top 4. They were eliminated by foot. You know,
yeah.
Sure, they fucked up Red Bull giveaway journey, but
top 4 still isn't good enough. It's the thing. Like,
it's not good enough, but at the same time, it's not like they lost to a random no-namer in the lower bracket, as you described. It's far from that.
Yeah,
it's still a solid result. It's prize money. It's a slight bump in VRS. Well, points. Like it's positive. This is an aberration. This is far too shit.
Yeah,
for me to be okay with. Like, I get it.
Comparing to the other events, it's still a bigger failure. But it is just the fact that I feel like ENCE pound for pound should probably win all of these lands that they're playing. They should have won giveaway. Like for who they have, or at least they should have had a chance. They should have had a chance at winning them. But you know, they go out top 4 or even outside the top 4 in a lot of these events, and it just keeps happening.
Yeah, actually, when you look back, like Birch Cup, BetClick Summer Clash, where'd they finish in these? Birch Cup was
Birch Cup,
12th, they withdrew, so never mind, doesn't really count.
They withdrew to go to ESL Pro League.
Yeah, BetClick Summer Clash, 5th, 8th, they showed up and lost in Amiga. Like,
But like they don't like they play CCT and that's where they lose to these kind of teams as well. Like they lose in the round of 16 of CCT to Gun 5, get stomped. Like it happens
yeah.
online as well. It's like and ENCE, I just look at their events page and it's like, okay, these are all. I understand why ENCE are playing all these events, but it should say first, second, second, first, second. It should say that. Instead, it's just nothing.
Just
So,
save Netu,
for
man.
that,
Just save Netu. Like, he's so much better
yeah,
than this
just
team. Put him on 3D Max already.
yeah.
Minus
Ooh.
Lucky plus Netu win. And Lucky, I know
Like that.
you do everything right. You're just so bad to watch because you're just mechanically not a very good player. Like, I don't care how good your spacing and timing and decision making is. You don't shoot good. Please get off my team.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And then I mean the big one. I think the big one in a way as well is Inner Circle. What happened to them?
What's happened to them is they've just fallen off a fucking cliff since the Knifey move, like Knifey benching himself, and then after that when Ken drops off, like sure we have a brief resurgence. Captain Kirk is able to find a lot of impact, like just raw numbers sort of thing, but they've just not recovered from that first initial move. Like adding Zero Fix for Knifey just fucking threw everything. Maybe Knifey's a tad older. He's not old by any means, right? He's like 21, I think. But I think he isn't 21. Him being pulled from the team or pulling himself from the team, it either was one of two things: a sign of some sort of inner conflict that needed to be resolved, or some sort of inner problem that hadn't been addressed or made public, or on the other side of it, it's just him being removed causes a problem. Like maybe Onik at that point, doesn't believe in himself enough. He doesn't, maybe his grip over the team gets loosened because Knifey was kind of his soldier. There's maybe some kind of dynamic in there that causes them to just fall off. I hope the reality isn't the third option, which is they've been playing this style the same way for so long that the anti is free. Like the anti-strat's free. Oh, they hit B. Okay, be ready, guys. They're going to hit B 3 more times. We're going to stack the B site. They're going to hit us with this pace in this moment, in this way, and we're going to try and counter it. Like there's a small chance. It's just they've refused to adapt enough. I refuse to believe it because they have a real coach. Their IGL has his head screwed on. They're aware that they have a style. Surely they've actually thrown in more variety and aren't just getting out fucking like prepped by Mouse and XT. But
would suck if that was the case.
Lord above, it would suck. It would really suck. And Inner Circle have had too many like interesting pieces in terms of Knifey as a role player, outperforming his spots. Davi as a raw talent is fucking phenomenal. Like he is such a monster. It'd be a shame if this team just floundered and fell into nothingness, and all these cool pieces we thought would be critical to the Ukrainian scene just vanish. Just like now you see me 4, Inner Circle disappear.
I'm just wondering. I also feel like they don't really have any permanence anyway, because they did the Knifey move, and they brought in whoever they've been playing with. Well, it happened, and they brought in somebody temporarily. I remember they played with Krasnell for a bit, no, and then they had Zero Fix, and
they basically had 2 different stand-ins for that position essentially.
Yeah, and now they also have Captain Kurtke instead of Karen, even though that's an unannounced move. I'm like,
yep.
It feels a bit like these guys are taking a long time to make roster moves happen, which probably need to happen. Like I think maybe you needed to get somebody in there to feel like, okay, we have a team. This is the team we are working with. Like if Knifey wants to take a break, take a break. But at least Astralis, when Stam took a break, well, they brought in Magisk. They were like, Magisk is going to play the rest of the season. This is what we're doing. Magisk is on our team now. Maybe that's what they had to do. And now that Karen is out, I mean, it also is sort of end of the season, maybe. But these results really do matter. Like Inner Circle, they're not just dropping off a cliff on the server. They are the 47th in VRS at this point.
Yeah, there's more.
It's dire.
There's more than just you have to play these. It's like if you are going to play these, you had to play well.
Yes.
Like there's no two ways about it. Like you can't just treat these lightly anymore. It's not just end of season. Who's even watching? It's like fucking Valve are. The official ranking system is. Like,
yes.
That's who's watching, and that really matters. That's why we're still talking about it. I mean, we would have done the show anyway. We'd have filled fucking 2 hours of content on 3 roster moves and some other bollocks because it's us. But VRS is watching these little cups. That's why we're talking about these little cups. it does matter a lot. So yeah, that's a huge, huge loss for them. But honestly, I just want to touch on this event specifically because there was a few things. I talked about this kind of in my Discord. Like I just threw out a message talking about how this event is like loaded with talents and prospects. Like there's a couple really big academies that attended this. Not just a couple. There's Heroic Academy, G2 Ares, Mouse and XT all attended. Some young players we like, what I like, I don't know how you, attended in the form of like Jorko playing with Ill Will. The Huns showed up with Cobra Zero. Inner Circle, obviously, with Davu. Ends with Nechu. Like, there's a bunch of young guys just scattered across these teams. I mean, Laser Cats have a couple guys who are pretty young as well. There's just a lot of interesting talents at this event. And obviously, eventual champions Bestia, who we haven't even given credit to. We've just been spending this entire time ranting about everyone who failed. Bestia, full credit, win the title with a huge grand final out of Timo, who is, if I remember, in prospect range. He's 21. He was in prospect range the first time I ever heard of him. But as typically a role player who just plays beyond his roles is kind of the story of Timo, a fantastic player to be aware of. I just wanted to give some credit or some props to some of these players because most of them didn't have much success beyond the groups. Like obviously, Mouse and XT get one win in the playoffs. Heroic Academy go straight out. G2 go straight out. But some of the players did have a decent time of things, or have at least a map or two that was worth talking about, like Musiek of Heroic Academy, a young Polish AWPer. I watched a couple of his group stage maps. Very quick. Like, I mean, something appears, and his crosshair moves. Like his adjustment speed is insane, and with an AWPer, when you don't need your adjustment to be the most precise, you just need to hit the body. Holy crap, is that a weapon? Like he does have some problems. Just to give you the brief, just overview from what I watched. Oh lord. He is stubborn and refuses to accept that this is not a fight he should take and that eventually it will cause him to die. Like, he is hard-headed is the impression I get. The sort of things, just like quality of life stuff, like just change your angle, just pick a different spot. You're the AWPer, they've got a Deagle. You don't need to win this fight. Like, the bomb's down, it's a 5v3, you don't need to take this fight at all. Just move along. Move along. Shiro would not take this fight. That's what would Shiro do? That should be Musiek's just sort of mindset going forward, just to balance himself out a bit. But mechanically, really, really impressive. Like how his AWP moves, the way his crosshair flicks, like bang, it's just whoa. It's really quick, almost hard to watch, or hard to spot rather. Mouse and XT, obviously, you can take your pick of guys who've had pop-offs at this event, but also just generally been interesting. Nicodian, I think, comes out as the star for them in this event, but Aok has a banger map or two. Zelex plays some decent CS as well against Venom. So yeah, a couple of the guys on there played well. And Junimi of G2 Ares has a good group stage. So in terms of Danish AWPers, stay alert, stay awake. There's still some options. So just wanted to briefly touch on this. Obviously, we're talking about at least one of these guys in Prospect of the Week at the end of the show. I just want to throw some of those names out there just so you guys are familiar with them. Because they will come up again, I'm sure, when they start playing CCTs next year. Like Heroic Academy haven't really played anything so far. But this was their first showing, and it was pretty cool to see some of these talents hit some shots, play some real teams. Hopefully we see more of them next year. That's just a precursor to what's to come. So, yeah, very interesting event. Our final small cup we need to touch on is Extreme Lands. Zowie Extremes Land Asia Open, that the full title, yeah.
Classification event.
Classification event, a legendary sort of event with teams that you've heard of, like Linvision, Rare Atom, Chinggis Warriors, Eruption, and some you may not have heard of but recognize some players like Change the Game. I think that's a new branding on a different Chinese roster because I don't recognize the branding. It's complete dog shit. But yeah. Just some random ass. Never mind. This hasn't been their logo the entire time. Ooh. But yeah, some random teams, some teams you'll know, some Rooster in attendance, and quite importantly, GGHao were in attendance with Synopsy, Boros, Mini, and they actually end up being one of the problematic upset run sort of teams. So just to go through it, GGHao are in Eruption's group in the groups. They lose that BO1, then crush Sensation, who are Korean. So obviously not big names right now. They make playoffs. Linvision make playoffs in a group with two teams you'll have never heard of. Rare Atom and Rooster make it out of their group, and then Change the Game and Chinggis Warriors make it out of their group, with Chinggis Warriors having to play a decider game after losing their best of one to change the game. And that creates some problems in the playoff matchups, such as Linvision playing GGHao and Rare Atom playing Chinggis Warriors. And both of them get upset. Both of the Chinese teams that we expect to be like sort of top of the region get upset. GG Hao 2-1 versus Lin Vision. Ancient and Dust 2 being the maps they win. Both maps Boros enjoys and went absolutely fucking feral on. Ends the series with a 1.46 rating. And Chinggis Warriors on the other side with some players you've heard of, but also Tikwak, a name I didn't recognize, who's filling in for them right now, obviously with the loss of controllers. He goes absolutely ham in their series in all playoffs long. He goes absolutely ballistic. So yeah, some pretty big names that fall instantly in the playoffs of Extremes Land. Rare Atom continuing their slide, and Lin Vision, I guess, just taking their foot off the gas entirely. Zaka, Westmelon, just completely letting it slip, letting it go. But huge for Boros to show off that he still has the mechanics, the presence, the ability to be a top fragger. That was never the problem. The problem is more that he is
a dick.
A bit unprofessional, I believe is the official terminology. Quack, a bit unprofessional. I don't have any evidence that he's a dick. I know he changed his mouse and pissed everyone off. That's not being a dick. That's just being a child. There may be other stuff, but I don't know anything officially, and I can't talk about it because I don't actually know any of it officially. So we're just not going to speculate. We're going to just keep going. Hopefully he does get another chance at some point. He does prove that he's mature enough for top play, and he can use that aim because his aim is still fucking fantastic. But in the grand final, after GG Hao and Chinggis Warriors take care of some of those lesser-known teams, Chinggis Warriors end up beating GG Hao 2-1 on Dust to Inferno Ancient. Another big series out of Boros, and another big series out of Tikwak, this 16-year-old that has just come out of nowhere. So keep your fucking ears peeled, your eyes open for Tikwak. Zolbayar Chimedsiren. Oh my god, what a name. That's going to be fun. If Scrawny, if he ever plays an event, you had better fucking say his entire name. I know you can. You better scream it. I know you'll pull it off. But yeah, crazy event. I don't know how much of this you even followed or if you realized it was happening, Quack. I did the second I saw GG Hao. I was like, oh, Boros? Checked. He's playing. He beat Lin Vision. Let's go. The propaganda comes back.
Yeah. Lin Vision. Am I wrong? Yeah, they also lost the group stage game to
they lost the BO1. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but to a Filipino team.
It's the most random ass shit. Yeah, they lost to Alexander Wisely Mudrakov, who leads this Filipino team.
Yeah. No, okay. This is a cool event. It's cool for Boros. It's cool for GG Hao. It's cool for Mini. Like good event for him.
A solid event
GG
for him.
GG Hao are pretty exciting. They had Mither as a coach with them in this event as well.
Yeah, that's a big change. That's one I hadn't noticed. You're right.
Yeah, no, Mither, he hasn't really been doing anything since he left Liquid. And I think maybe he's realized that, well, the level I need to be at is around the level of team that GG Hao is, which is not a bad team. Like they are ranked 95. I don't think they are the 95th best team in the world is the thing. I think they are better than that.
Maybe like
unfortunately,
45th,
this event is
50th,
this event is unranked. This event is unfortunately unranked. They gain nothing from this. But hey, it's still like it's a bit prestigious. It's a pretty big regional Asian LAN. So for that, props. As for Tikwak, Chinggis Warriors, he is they bought him from Mongols Academy when controllers went to Mongols.
Oh, so, okay, that's where he's from. For me, he's just a random. I've never heard of the guy.
Now that I'm thinking about it, was he loaned or was he bought?
It doesn't say loan on HRTV, but that doesn't mean shit.
No. Former Mongols Academy player, so but he's maybe the spiritual Senzu successor in that way, where he could have been the Senzu replacement. Considering Mongols did say they considered their academy players, they just didn't think any of them were ready, and that's why they went for controllers.
Yeah, the numbers he's put up in this fucking event.
Yeah,
kind of nuts. I'm gonna have to download some demos. Like, I'm gonna be honest. I need to stop talking about him, start watching him. I'm gonna download the Rare Atom demos, lads. If anyone's gonna be around, I don't know if I'll have time to stream tomorrow. But if I am, you know what I'm doing. I'm watching Zowie Extremes Land fucking and Draculan demos.
I think there will also be an uproar if you don't also watch the other legendary player making his sensational return in this event with the Japanese side Ravens. It is of course Repablo Escobar. He is back. He is back on LAN. Rip Pablo Escobar is playing Counter-Strike on LAN in the big 2025, and you have we are so back. We are eating good this week. What an amazing Christmas gift.
Why does
from
Blood
the
look...
Asian
Look,
Counter-Strike scene.
don't take this the wrong way, but why does he look like so miserable in his picture?
I think it's the lighting, but the lighting also does make him look kind of like a mob boss. Like it looks like this could be something from like a TV show. The way they've lit this headshot, this very old headshot from a previous team of his.
Yeah, I'm not going to say what I actually think it looks like because I'm definitely going to get roasted for it. But yeah,
Yeah, that's another demo for you to watch.
I'm not
Let's
watching
fucking go.
fucking Pablo Escobar.
Japan Major 2027.
I'm not
Rip
watching
Pablo Escobar.
Ever. I'm sorry. Ever.
Put some respect.
I didn't bother with
honestly.
2 seasons of Narcos. I'm not bothering with this.
Isn't there actually? Oh yeah, no. I think it was Vitality. I think they have an analyst or something actually named Pablo Escobar, like Pablo Escobar. Maybe it was in Valorant, but I remember we wrote a news item about it where we were like, Pablo Escobar is back. That was the headline. Pablo Escobar is back. Joins Valorant team.
No one else would ever bother, but of course you did.
Fucking amazing. Fucking amazing it was. I have to find it. But yeah, that's Extreme Sun is a cool event. Shame it's unranked. But yeah.
That's just wild. Okay. Right. That's the big small events recap. We now move on to Quackit. You are kind of a dork, so you know what happens in VRS and when the invite cutoffs are and all that other stuff. What's going on with that? Who's actually going to be playing Tier 1 events next year?
We basically know already. So we are getting very close to the January 5th ranking, which is going to decide much of the spring season.
January what?
January 5th is the ranking cutoff for Krakow, Bucharest, and weirdly enough, IEM Rio. So the first 2 of those are going to decide the first 2 of those events are the 5 that are going to Tier 1 events that are going to be played before the major cutoff. So they have a pretty, like, they weigh pretty heavily. This week we also had another one of those 5 is Blast Bounty had their invites sent out December 1st, which is also going to impact that. But there we actually know who is playing. We know who has skipped as well. A lot of teams are skipping that event, weirdly enough. But yeah, that's what I want to talk about. So we have basically 4 events that were or basically decided this week. But just as a precursor, literally the only thing that I think can change anything in terms of Tier 1 invites is if some sort of edge team signs up for Frag Miami. So far it hasn't happened, but like if Fnatic go, I guess they could cheese their way into Krakow that way. The only other event which is going to decide really anything is how BetBoom and Hotu do at the Meta Cup Season 3 in Kazakhstan at the start of January. And they are the only 2 teams in attendance who have anything Tier 1-ish to play for, but technically I think one of the 2 could make Krakow if they win that event, so it's possible. But hey, yes, Blast Bounty. The invites were confirmed. It's actually kind of interesting. We have 11 teams skipping invites for Blast Bounty. It's the usual suspects, but then Maus are skipping, Mongols are skipping, G2 are skipping. Legacy and Bait and Saw are also skipping. FlyQuest, Linvision, MIBR, Tyloo, and Fluxo. And that means we have invites ranging all the way down to Sinners. So Sinners and Monty and OG are going to be playing.
Oh.
They're going to be playing in Blast Bounty. Now, this is obviously, it starts with an online portion. It's with the very tough single elimination bracket. It's pretty much guaranteed that, Sinners or Nine or Monty is gonna have to play against Vitality in the first game. But they only need to win 2 maps. Like, I do like that. Like,
that's the hope right there. Sinners, you only need to win 2 maps.
It's far away, but it's also like it's not impossible. Like in all of these games, you're gonna have a big favorite.
You just have to do what FaZe Clan couldn't. Just win 2 maps.
Yes, it's like the low basically if you're you should be familiar with this event at this point because we've run it twice already this year. But basically the bottom half teams get to pick their opponent out of the top half seeded team. So
Yeah.
Game Legion, I think by the looks of this, Foot are gonna get no, sorry. It's gonna be somebody like Foot or Gentle Mates or NIP get to have the first pick, and then they can choose somebody like we want to play Pain, or we want to play Heroic or Perivision.
Yeah.
Which for an opening game, which is nice. You get to progress. You only need to win 2 series to make it to the LAN portion out of this because it is single elimination with 32 teams, and the top 8 play in Studio in Malta. Then as you go further down, like the worst ranked teams are probably like unless somebody decides they want to take on the major champion in the first game out of like some confidence pick, like fucking NRG decides, yeah, we can take him, boys. Like it's no problem. Probably Sinners are gonna get fucked over and they're gonna have to play Vitality in that sense. So but like it's also quite exciting if an upset happens. That has some pretty big implications because then it has a lot of like prize money implications. Like that's why it's called bounty. The bigger the opponent you take down, the better your payout is, and like the bigger your payout is, and you can, and also your seeding increases. I think the way it works is you literally steal their seeding. So the risk reward of picking Vitality is if you beat them, big money bags, and you're now the number 1 seeded team for the rest of the event, basically. So that's nice. But yeah, it's a fun event now. We have some fun invites. Eyeballers are here. That's really fun. I thought they would be one of the worst seeded teams. The thing is, at the ranking they have, they're gonna have a decent pick.
Yeah, they're way better than I expected. They're above like Ents, they're above Inner Circle, they're above Sinners, 9, OG, Monty.
Yeah.
They're even better off than Virtus Pro right now, who are down to 51 on VRS. They're
by the time this...
No, Eyeballers have a decent pick, and they're still going to lose, but it'll be closer than expected if they get the right pick in.
If I'm just guessing which pick order...
Though.
Yeah, if I'm guessing what kind of pick order is going to happen here, I think Eyeballers might end up with like an Aurora or an Astralis, or
Astralis is
maybe
winnable.
Maybe a 3D Max. I think considering we have no fucking idea what's happening with either of those rosters, 3D Max may be unlikely to make a change, but like Aurora, we've heard talk about roster changes happening. Astralis, we know for a fact they're gonna have a different AWPer, and we know for a fact Magisk is not continuing next season. Neither is Stown. Like Astralis is gonna look different. A lot can happen. We don't really know what's gonna happen. So probably, if I'm guessing, probably they'll have the choice to play something like that. Yeah.
Don't they? Okay, no, never mind. I was just looking at the Astralis roster. I was like thinking about what change they had to make, and I was like, never mind. It all makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just a bit confusing, just in terms of who they are even going to show up with. They're definitely not going to have Magus. Definitely not going to have Device. Are they just going to sign like multiple fucking like ecstatic players?
If they want to stay Danish,
yeah.
And also there's the Hooksy thing. Nikodos, surely. Yeah. Like Hooksy, Nikodos reunited.
Considering
for the odd position.
Nikodos is currently looking for a team essentially, and definitely isn't going to join 100 Thieves. If he's not going to Astralis, where the fuck is he going?
Yeah, the tricky thing is they can't pay their salaries. So you also like, we have to assume Syrah has a lot of interest. Is he going to go to Astralis who can't pay him? Or is he going to go to, or like Zyphon? Can they even afford a Sashi buyout for Zyphon if they want to get something like that?
I bloody hope so.
But they can't pay their salaries. Like they're not paying their players. This is Astralis aren't paying any. So can they even? How are they going to justify paying for Zyphon if they can't pay their salaries? So
stick them.
I don't fucking know. Yeah, I don't fucking know what's going to happen here. Do they go international? That would be an interesting implication. But anyway, yeah. There's hope for Eyeballers and the teams that are ranked below, because honestly, this upper level, with the fact that like Mouse, Mongols, G2, Legacy, and Bait say no, all of them would be in the upper half of the seeds, which makes it interesting. It means that you like among the top seeded teams are heroic, highly winnable for whoever for whoever has the first pick. I would assume you want to pick heroic or Perivision, to be honest. At least in my opinion, those two are and that first team who are gonna get the first pick, it's probably like maybe Foot, maybe NIP. Like Foot might also be one of the favorites in terms of the seed. You can pick Foot. You can pick to play Foot. That's interesting. Super interesting. And that's why I think maybe a team like Liquid is going to be a viable pick for eyeballers. Or Pain with two players we still have no idea about, who could look any which way. It could be the worst team ever. Maybe Snow ends up being not the worst player on Pain. And in that case, they're a very viable pick, and you should absolutely pick them. Also, I saw Big Zero just bought a Mercedes, so yeah, they're fucked. Bet against them. This actually gonna be interesting. I want to move on because we do have the January ranking itself. It does decide a lot, and the only two events can still influence it. It's before the January 5th. Well, technically 3 or 4, but 2 of them have 0 teams even in contention for a tier 1 spot, so we can disregard them entirely. For at least for the purposes of this discussion. But as it stands, with the reservation that Hotu and BetBoom can still move, which could change things slightly, and technically NIP, Fnatic, those teams could also show up to Philadelphia, Miami. But as it stands, they aren't signed up. As it stands, Furia, Vitality, Falcon, Spirit, Navi, Mouseface, Mongols, Aurora, the favorites, are going to be invited to PGL Cluj-Napoca along with Bait, Legacy, G2, Liquid, 3 Max, Astralis, Perivision. Here I expect we get a lot of top teams saying no, as we had last year. A lot of teams just skipped PGL events entirely, like Vitality. So we could see some trickle down. The interesting one is Krakow, what is supposed to be IEM Katowice.
Yeah.
Where everybody is going to say yes, and everybody wants a spot. It is the first Prestige event of 2026. It is huge. And it's the teams you know about. As it stands, the cutoff for the stage 1 thing is Mongols and Aurora. And the gap is pretty big, so Aurora are going to be in stage 1, Mongols are going to be in the main event. FaZe actually make it in off of their major performance, which is nice, into like with a straight big event, main event invite. The cutoff, the interesting part of the ranking, which is interesting thing about Foot are in, Passion are in, NIP are in, and SAW are in after that Portuguese LAN. Imperial are in as it stands, and as it stands, Gentle Mates have a spot over M80, but again, Hotu, Fnatic, BetBoom are chasing that spot. If they make the trip to Miami, or if this Kazakhstan LAN something happens here, maybe M80 show up to Frag Miami as well, and they could steal that spot because they're also on the cutoff. That spot is still up for grabs. It's gonna be decided in the first week of 2026 in, honestly, pretty similar to what the major race was. It's gonna be Philadelphia, it's gonna be in Miami, and it's gonna be a pretty big thing. So, but other than that, we more or less know everything at this point. There's no more worthwhile Counter-Strike being played in terms of deciding these tier 1 events.
Okay,
so,
let's say, because you had to add that caveat in, because my Premier games are worthwhile.
Yeah.
Those slurs those Russian kids are going to call me are worthwhile.
Yeah.
Like, that makes or breaks my week. Like, if I don't get called Amerikansky, then a slew of different things, why am I even here? What am I even living for? That's the energy I need to keep myself sustained. So thank you for accepting that.
But that is not getting you to IEM Krakow. And, well...
Eventually. I mean, I'm grinding.
Yeah. The next event, which is also being decided, is IEM Rio, their main event invites and closed qualifier invites. But geez, that's played in April, and the major invites will already be decided. I honestly, that's a bit of a snooze fest at this point. We'll be more excited about that in April, I assume. So,
yes, we will.
But for some fucking reason, ESL decided the invites are going to be sent out in fucking January. Because they can just do that. You can just decide that, oh yeah, my event, which is going to be held in 2027, the invite cutoff is actually 2026, January. Yeah, you can do that. It's fine. There's no rule against it. If you want to, do you want to start planning a tier 1 event for 2035, but the invites get decided next month? We can do that.
We should.
Yeah, that would be fun.
What should we call it?
And then we have a buy-in. We have an entry fee of $2,000. And we
Yes.
embezzle all of it. Perfect.
Yeah, and all of it goes into my new car. I love this
Yes.
plan. I love this plan. And we
Yes.
should call it Retake the Week, but with an A.
Oh yes, true. Yes, the week, the week wallets after paying our entry fees. Yeah.
But yeah, so we know
Excellent.
now exactly what's going to be happening for the next sort of 3-4 months. It seems it's a bit
Yeah.
silly, but hey, at least it's all locked in. We've got a system. Ignoring the silliness of you can set your invite sort of date whenever.
Yeah.
It's all lined up. I mean, I think it's gonna be exciting. This Blast Bounty. We're gonna try and double swing it, even though there's 32 teams and it makes no sense. We're gonna try and double swing the entire event. I think that's what I'm trying to do. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
You can do it. You can do a fun thing because the team basically tells you who are favorites and underdogs. Like they literally have those two categories based on who's picking, who's getting picked.
Yeah, I mean,
So you could kind of double swing.
I also have my own, but yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, but like you could just take those and do it. Yeah, it's doable.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. That's coming next year though, because I don't do it that far in advance. I think we all need to take Christmas off. Not retake the week, but everything else needs to take Christmas off. So we will be trying to do that. It's going to be interesting. But no,
Yeah.
those are the invites. I think nothing's really going to change that much. Let's move on to, wow, pretty early on in the day, but we're already getting to Cock of the Week. No theme tune,
Yes.
not at least on the system, so we give it a good and get straight into this. Quick, I see a link. I haven't clicked it. Unfortunately, it's a HLTV forum thread, so there's a 50-50 chance you just got like clickbaited by some fake rage, because it's happened before.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Well, unfortunately, I had a great Cock of the Week pick on Twitter, but I realized just before the show I literally can't even talk about it because it's just a video. It's just a 2-second video, which is do you know the Sabrina Carpenter? I'll just explain it. Do you know the Sabrina Carpenter? Hey man, that clip.
No.
Well, it's like it's from a music video of one of her songs. She's just in a hot tub and she says "Hey man," and then the camera pans and the men are two piglets in the.
Oh, are you talking about the Jacob AI edit thing that some guy
Yeah.
made? Ugh.
Yeah.
I saw that pop on my Twitter. I was like, why did you make this, bro? Like, what? Like,
I saw somebody else make it was sketchy, genuinely sketchy AI edits of Monosuke, Yusuke, and Simple for some reason. Like genuinely, I think the quote reason why I saw it was somebody quote tweeted and said, "Yeah, this is a great day for pedophiles." And
oh,
but we've had enough of that on Cock of the Week, so I'm not gonna.
what
Yeah.
pedophiles?
Enough of fucking Kyosuke.
Yeah.
Okay, no. Anyway, the actual Cock of the Week that I had to choose
Ugh.
because everything else was relatively tame. This is as well. It's just breakout teams 2026. Which tier 3 teams might break into tier 1 to 2 scene next year, like NIP, Legacy, or Heroic did this year? Obvious ones are Foot, Gentlemates, Hotu, or even Eyeballers with JW.
Did you write this thread? Did you write
No, I
this
didn't.
thread?
I didn't. Some
Guys,
Kazakhstani
promising
guy wrote
up and
this.
coming teams. How about eyeballers? Guys, eyeballers. Eyeballers, right? It's just you, Quack. Just you.
I do genuinely adore the fact that everybody outside of Sweden has to specify Eyeballers have JW because otherwise they wouldn't know anything. They wouldn't know who they are. So yeah, I honestly picked this because I wanted to springboard off into like a tier discussion because Jesus Christ, NIP were like. Did anybody ever think Heroic were tier 3?
Yeah, that's
And
the thing.
even
In
now, does anybody
2025, Heroic at the lowest were what, like 25th in the world? 30th
Yeah.
in the world? If that's
At their
not tier
worst.
2, what the fuck is? Like, how does
Yeah.
that even work?
Yeah, and here's another tier 3 team which they think is going to break in this year, and it's Foot, the number 19 team in the world. So I like the implication of this is that you have number 19, which is the absolute upper bound of tier 3 in this case. You have to fit 2 tiers above that and somehow
I know what's
make like a
happened.
worthwhile distinction. So
This person
that's-
is someone who doesn't podcast endlessly and
Mm-hmm.
probably doesn't have a life because they're posting on HLTV forums, but their no-lifing is different to our no-lifing. And
yeah,
so-
it's a Venn diagram which has a surprisingly small intersection. Like,
But what's happened is, in their heads, tier 1 is everyone who plays every big event, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tier 2 is the teams we call tier 1.5, who like, you know, play the play-ins, play some of the big events. And then everything below that is 2 and 3. Everything.
Exactly. 2 and 3.
Everything below that. And that's, for obvious reasons, complete nonsense. Just utter nonsense. The lines are always hard to draw. But for reference, everything that's tier 1 and 1.5 should really be called tier 1. Like in terms of if you're in that range for playing those events, it's tier 1 events, it's tier 1. We're just talking about the top tier. Like the Premier League is 20 teams, but the bottom 3 every season are clearly dog shit. But they are in the Premier League. That's tier 1. Tier 2 goes from that bottom limit, which is a bit vague, depending on which team's playing in which event that week, all the way down to like 50, 60, like at least. Like it's a massive range of teams that are tier 2 because of the level of competition people playing at, the number of cups there are, different little lands. It's a pretty wide tier 2. If you're beneath that, solidly beneath that, you're tier 3.
Yeah.
So the idea that these teams are tier 3, firstly, is ridiculous. The idea that also teams that were broken in, I guess actually NIP is an accurate take because they were completely unranked, but everyone in their right mind knows that Snappy, Shush, Casper Sky, Wrinkle, well, not Casper Sky all the time, Ujux and Arrows Dosh, but you know, the roster they had, especially with that core 3, Shush, Snappy, Wrinkle, is not tier 3. It's not 70th down. I guess they were technically VRS ranked that low, but they're not actually that low. So it's a terrible take on 2 fronts. Like, firstly, not understanding the tiers. Secondly, not applying their own tiers correctly. And thirdly, just being on HLTV forums. It's just a bad take.
Yeah, I mean, as always, it's just a bad take. The thing about tiers is we actually have tiers now. Like tier 1 event is that's a technical term now. That's literally what Valve differentiates tier 1 and tier 2. So
yeah, but
I think it's pretty fair. No, I think it's fair. If you mostly play Valve tier 1 events, you are a tier 1 team, and at that point, yeah, you do get down to like the, you know, top 12. Top 12 is Bait is maybe the exception, but like, or top 10 even. Like G2, Aurora, Navi, yeah, they mostly play Valve tier 1 events. I'd say those are tier 1 teams. And then
the problem is we have already had a definition of what tier 1 is, what tier 2 is. I'm not going to start deferring to Valve all of a sudden because now they want to give a shit. No. We already had our conversations. We had our tiers set. You can fuck yourselves, Valve. Like, we're going to call it what we call it.
But yeah, interpreting this literally though, with your own tier definitions, which tier 3 teams do you think might break into the tier 1 to 2 seed
let me
this
go
year?
have a scroll. I'm going to have to scroll for a bit.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. I'm going to cut off at 60 arbitrarily and say that's where tier 2 ends and go down from there. And we'll ignore Brazilians because they're all over the shop. And I'm using HLTV ranking. Let's see. Friendly campers. There you go. Friendly campers. They're 86th on HLTV ranking. VRS, they're currently 37th, which for him is tier 3. So they'll break into tier 1/2, aka the top 15.
Yeah, I do think it's baffling that there are people who, like, I'm just gonna check this guy. Does he post a lot on forums? Yes, he does. He's made several threads in this week. Okay, so there's somebody who frequents the HLTV forums. You're on the website all the time, but just never looks at the today's matches tab and realizes there's other games happening which don't include Vitality and Furia. Like, and in fact, like, okay, I can understand there's 1 or 2, but this is like most HLTV forum users just don't look at the today's matches tab unless like tier 1 play is happening, which I think is crazy.
This person's completely oblivious to tier 1, 2, 3 and less stuff, but has an entire thread on K27. What? Hasn't a fucking clue what's going on. The lights are on, there's no one home. This Kazakhstan flag Furia fan is completely clueless. Brilliant L take. I mean, cock of the week, I guess just more ignoramus of the week. Like, it's not that deep, but it is kind of
funny. People were very well behaved this week. Unfortunately,
I saw someone put Torji at number 14 on their HLTV top 20 prediction. Some people needed to be mocked this week.
I will also note that today's cock, or this week's cock, had 0 out of 7 correct predictions for the Austin Major pick'ems.
Austin Major.
0 out of 7. Yeah, Austin Major, where Vitality were clear favorites. They didn't even predict them winning one game.
Oh God. Predicted winner Furia. Oh God.
Yeah, I guess that's why. But yeah,
Oof, that's rough. That is very rough.
yeah, yeah. That must have meant they were incorrect for all of the quarterfinals. So they predicted FaZe winning, Furia winning. I guess Spirit. I can't remember who.
Spirit lost to Mouse, so they predicted Spirit winning. Clearly.
Spirit winning, Na'Vi winning, FaZe winning, and Furia winning is what they were hoping for in the Austin Major.
That's crazy. That's actually crazy.
That's funny.
But yeah, I'm not going to start going through this person's entire forum post history. I accidentally scrolled down a bit. There's some L's. Just not going to bother bullying this person anymore. They're clearly just not all there.
Yeah. slight cock of the week to Cajun B for being convicted of tax fraud this week.
Yeah, I was about to say, if anyone should be a cock. Motherfucker committed tax fraud. Or tax evasion, really. There was no real fraud. It's just tax evasion.
Evasion.
Yeah. Let's get into the next segment. Another frequent, recurring
we
segment
believe it's Cajun B. Yeah.
that everyone loves. Yeah, it's definitely a player who just happens to match Cajun B's description perfectly.
We won't say who the player is. He's 35 years old, was active between 2014 and 2020, and has been very successful internationally. And he plays Counter-Strike.
If that's not Cajun, I don't know who is. Let's get into the retake games, though. Quacker, I'll let you lead off. It's been a while since you've bothered to show up for this segment. What have you brought to the table?
I think it's been 1 week. I brought Hot or Cold.
Exactly, it's been 1 week.
Easiest game. Since you looked at me. Okay. Anyway, do you want to lead it off? It's Hot or Cold. You ask. You give me not questions. You make guesses at what team or which player I've picked, and I'll give you a number how close you are. 0 to 100. You get the game. We've played this several times.
Yes. If anyone doesn't understand in chat, I'm about to do a whole lot of racism. Okay.
Yes. You have 15 tries.
Black hair.
40. 50. I'll give you 50.
50. So it's either a perfect brunette or a team with a nice range. In which case, I can eliminate the dark-haired Vitality, the dark-haired Furia. There's some more medium colors in Falcons. Okay. Let's go glasses.
Oh yeah. 78.
78. Now that's a very weird number because an individual who wears glasses just wears glasses. An individual who doesn't wear glasses doesn't wear glasses. Unless it's a man who doesn't wear glasses with 4 teammates who have glasses and Quack is therefore being a nonce. This is probably a team we're talking about. So if it's a team we're talking about, we need a team with a lot of glasses and a range of hair colors. Mouse immediately fit the bill. Falcons, not enough glasses. Spirit do not fit the bill. FaZe do not fit the bill. I'm going to slowly go through every team.
It is possible to take off glasses as well.
It is
glasses
theoretically
are
possible.
Not necessarily an item you wear all the time. And for a fact, you sometimes wear glasses.
I should be wearing them right now, but that's not the point. Okay. Passion UA.
1.
Okay, good. Eliminate that team. Mouse.
43.
43 for Mouse.
63 even. I'll flip to the other side of the 50.
63. So quite strongly associated with Mouse. Clearly not a Mouse player currently. Maybe a former Mouse player. Ah, I see. Let's see. So former Mouse players are people like Rops, people like Carrigan. I'm going to say major winner.
Yeah. 92.
92. So again, same. I'm in the same place really. Could take off their glasses. That does hint towards potentially players on Vitality, even though the hair color thing makes no sense for them. But Apex in his picture on HLTV is sporting a buzz cut, so maybe you're being a twat. You are famous for it. All right, I'm gonna start naming players. Apex.
30.
Carrigan.
Correct!
There
It
we
is
go.
Carrigan.
So he does have
yeah.
the right color hair, but when does he take his glasses off? Does he take his glasses off in that one fucking Twitter video? Like, I swear he's always got his glasses on.
No, I think he didn't wear glasses up until like 2019. Like, imagine an old picture of Kerrigan. He does not wear glasses. I'm looking at his gallery page right now. It is Epicenter 2019, day 2. He doesn't wear glasses. Ice Challenge 2020, he does wear glasses. And then if I scroll back, it's like, no glasses, no glasses, no glasses. He just has a very long career, and for a large part of it, he didn't need glasses, I suppose. And now he does.
So this week, arbitrarily, recency not as important. Because
Well,
6 years
78,
straight of being famously glasses wearing, erased.
Like 8 years of not wearing glasses. I think
When you didn't even know he
fair,
existed.
considering
Those
recency.
8 years, you didn't even know he existed. You weren't even watching CS.
2019, I was.
Exactly.
I was a huge Kerrigan fan in 2019. But
Exactly.
yeah, black hair, 50 years. He is a perfect brunette.
He is, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, 78. I think it's fair. Passion
Carrigan,
UA. I don't think.
hashtag a perfect brunette. Yeah, that's a fucking clip right there. That's your short. You want to make shorts? Make that a short.
Kerrigan is a perfect brunette. I don't think Passion. Yeah, I don't think he's ever interacted with Passion UA. I guess he played them in the major.
He did play them at the major, but so 1 was probably a bit low, but I didn't remember that.
All right,
so.
I'll adjust to a 3. Mouse 63. I think it's fair. Kerrigan is probably more of a face player than a mouse player, but he did play a large part of his career in mouse. Yeah.
It's a significant mouse stint, so it's a reasonable. That number was reasonable.
Major winner 92. He is a major winner, but he's also lost 4 major finals. So, I could think of more players who are more associated with being major winners, such as multiple major winners.
Yeah.
Apex 30. They have played against each other pretty much every single year for 15 years or something. And yeah, Kerrigan 100. It was in fact Kerrigan.
Easy.
Yeah.
All right. I'm doing a different game because I was feeling incredibly lazy, and I think this one's gonna be real easy to do. But I think it's a weird stat that's disappeared and now it's reappearing. So close all your HLTV tabs, Quack. You can't cheat here.
Yep.
We are talking about
I'm not cheating.
The big events of 2025, the grand finals of those events. You need to tell me. You get three mistakes or 3 hints. So a combination of the 3. Right?
Okay, sorry. This was 2025 prestige
Big event.
events? Was that what
Big
you said?
event.
Big
grand
event.
finals.
Yep.
Specifically, grand
final,
finals.
grand finals. Yes.
I need you to name me the top 10 players by impact rating.
Oh God.
You must remember impact rating. It was a big thing for like 5 years. It's more, but you weren't there.
Look, okay. I know opening kills are important, multi-kills are important, clutches are important. Those are the 3 components.
Okay, just to make it easier as well, by the way, you're going to get 3 errors and 3 hints. So you can use them as you wish.
Big event grand finals. I know for a fact Donk is going to be up there.
Correct. Donk is number 1.
Because, like I said, multi-kills are important, opening frags are important, clutches are important, and, well, Donk is very high in 2 of those. The best in 2 of those, probably. Right. Zywoo's probably up there just from winning everything.
Zou has a 1.35 and is number 4.
Okay. And this is where I know that, like, Shiro's not going to be here. Partially, his playoff rating has been quite mid, but also clutches aren't that important. He doesn't get openings. He doesn't get.
Well, they are very, very important. You're wrong. It's just they don't happen very often compared to opening kills compared to multis.
Yes, well, yeah, mostly, and also Shiro just hasn't been that good. It's just like Jame very famously when he made the top 20, at the 20th spot in 2022, very famously, or at least very, very notable in my mind. He had the lowest. I think he had a negative impact rating and still made the top 20, and that was like, yeah, we almost excluded him despite being a major MVP, but like, yeah, he just about made it in. So people who have a playstyle like James or closer to James probably won't be in.
This is a fascinating
but I'll
lecture,
say
but you want to guess something at some point, please.
Rops is my guess. Despite being more of a clutch player,
That is your first error. Rops is not in the top 10, sorry. For big event grand finals impact rating, just in case anyone's missed what we're doing.
I'm thinking Mezzy and Flamesy. I'll just guess both, and if it's 2 errors, then I'm out. Because Messi's been a kind of a big finals player, like a major final was pretty huge.
2 errors. What? 3 errors, you're out. What the fuck are you doing?
How is Flamesy not in? Flamesy's an opener and a multi-killer.
I gave you 3 hints, 3 errors, and you got 2 right.
I swore I thought both of those were gonna be right. How the fuck is Mezzy and Flamesy not in the top 10?
Flamesy is so 12 is Rops, 13 is Flamesy, with 113 and 111. Mezzy is a 0.91 because most grand finals he's played this year, he's not been that great. He's not been the carry job. He's played well overall and for his roles, but he's not been that good. So the top 10. I need to
start thinking about these because now I'm realizing what I should have picked is Furia players because most of the grand finals they played, they won. And probably Mattis. Maybe your map count is too low, but Mattis is probably in there.
The map count is 2. It's literally anyone who could have played a big event grand final this year.
Okay, so Mattis would have been there. Yeah, Mattis would have been there.
Not there.
How the fuck is he not there? That's like the one good game he played.
It's really not, but okay. Mattis is just above Rops and Flamesy in number 11 with 114.
Yeah, I would have been robbed if I picked him. Furia players are in there. Kiserato is definitely in there. Molodoi is probably in there.
Jesus Christ, you haven't understood the concept of this fucking stat, have you? The most passive player on the team.
Yekindar is usually shit in the finals, I think. So, but Yekindar, I guess.
Yekindar's number 2 with a 144.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus. Number 3 is Xantares with a 135. 4 you got was Zaiwu. 5 is Frozen. That might have been a bit of a sticky one. Actually, 4 and 5 are both pretty sticky. It's Frozen and Stown, 128 each. Both big event finals that were surprisingly impactful. Heavy God, who was massive in the grand final G2 one. Then Molodoi, because his style is way more aggressive than every other AWPer. Senzu at 9 with 122. And Munacy at 10 with 120. Again, aggression.
Yeah.
And yet, here we are.
Frozen I wouldn't have got because I forgot that they played in the major final, which happened last week. Or 2 weeks ago, or whatever.
Yeah, Frozen I thought would be a tough one. Stown is a tough one to remember, even having played a big event final.
He played 2 grand finals, I think, and one of them was a big event, and it was one of the PGL ones, yeah. I mean, in the year total. Yeah, but I mean, in the year total, I think they played in one of the Fisher ones as well. They played 2 grand finals in any event, and one of them was big. That's what I was saying.
Oh, Fisher, yeah, he played Fisher, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not big, yeah, you're right.
I would never have guessed Stown though, because I probably would just stare. Stown has been shit in my mind.
That's why I gave you 3 hints. I mean, I thought you'd need them for like Stown, Frozen. I was looking at the list. I was like, okay, those are a bit weird. So maybe you need the extra help. But genuinely appalling performance.
Xantares as well played 1 grand final and won it, and got the MVP, I think. Or maybe he played 2.
He did play 2, Esports World Cup and Blast Bounty. Blast Bounty, he was
Esports World Cup.
Pretty bad, and Esports World Cup, he was pretty good.
Right, because their event win isn't a big event. Bucharest was a big event. That's where they won. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, no, that was
a good game, but I wouldn't have. I would have had no idea. I had no clue.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's an old relic. It's been replaced now. And by the way, Shiro is only just 1 spot below FlameZ with 109. Impact it used to be one of my favorite stats, honestly. Back in the day, it's like when I'm trying to find a random mega talented, like mechanically mega talented kid, I'd be like, all right, set the age max to 19, go to the Impact leaderboard. Who's here that I'd never heard of? That was a strat I'd used to scout back in the day. I then watched the demos, obviously. But that was one of the things I used to do, to try and find new prospects. It was semi-successful. It's the sort of place you'd find Boros.
Yeah. It's not the worst stat. Could be worse. Who's high now?
Who's high now?
Yeah, like if I go
past 2025.
Yeah. But if I go past 3 months, all matches. Like, who's going to be up there?
So big events last 3
Poi
months.
is going to be up there.
If you ignore big events, if you just go in general last 3 months.
Yeah, this is Retake the Week.
Like, okay. I'll go last 3 months. I'll set the cap to 20. Let's do Let's scout some players. Let's see how well this strategy still works.
Poi has a 140.
Great. So Mainz is number 1 with 174.
Excellent scouting.
Doran is number 2, who's a guy who plays for THE with 165. Tyrick from Nemesis Academy, 162. Kritus from Truck Drivers, 154. I think the map limit's still set to 2, so that's what, yeah. Okay, map limit's still set.
Yeah, this would be why.
I'll set it to 20, just to give us some better results. Yeah, Donk, Monacy, Poi, Grix, 0 from Change of the Game. Honest, Kioske, Klim, Bermilov, Swearzian from Mindfreak. Mindfreak are Turkish now? What? Jaboan, because he's a god. Syra, that's a shocker. Avarona of Confidence, they're now called. Davu, Zielo, Tenzi, QB, okay. Senzu, Vigo, Bloody, Molodoy, Wakadia, Nota, Danny of MIBRFE, Grizz of Marsborn, Dio Zero of Game Hunters. Yeah, you see, you start getting interesting, like people you've never heard of. They're like, might be worth taking a look at. Because if you're playing if you're a low tier player playing with weak ass teams, you're able to get massive amounts of multis and openings. Maybe you're hitting a lot of shots. Maybe you're fun to watch, dynamic. It's worth trying.
It's worth a shot.
We now get on to the main point of the show. This entire episode exists for this next segment. It's time for the Eternal Shuffle.
Yes.
Quacker, give me some moves. I'm going to give you some grades, and then we're probably going to just talk about them in general. Let's get into this.
Yeah, we're going to lead off with the main point of the show, because sources.
Certainly is not the main point.
Sources, which is me. I'm the sources, says that Poi is going to 100 Thieves. This was what we put out yesterday. Me and Luis Mira, in a collaborative effort, we managed to find out that 100 Thieves are probably signing Poi, and that's very interesting. It's interesting for many reasons. I think one of the reasons it kind of did, like, it was pretty big news. As you know, well, HLTV transfer news always are, but like for Poi, I would have expected most people would be who. But it did actually. But one of the reasons why I think it was big news is because this is the first time we have had like confirmed that 100 Thieves are not going for a core. Because at this point the report is they have Rain Device Poi. Look, okay, in theory you could sign Magisk and Stare and you would have an Astralis core, or you could sign Ovid and Upe and you would also have an Alliance core. But our sources indicate that's not happening. They are building a team and they're trying to run the NIP gauntlet from nothing, from rags to riches, VRS wise. So what do you think about Poi to 100 Thieves to begin with?
Well, I have done some of the tweetings, and it might be the best move they've made yet. It's just that I think all their moves are super risky. That's essentially the summary of it. Look, they signed Rain to be their IGL, a guy who's not been in IGL. And I'm like, okay, cool. He's Unk. He wants to transition. The will is there. Whatever. They then signed Glaive, who wants to become a coach and make the transition. And it's a bit weird. He's never done the role, but hey, Unk wants to do it. The will is there.
I mean, 4-time major champion.
So
you could do worse.
So
you could do worse.
As a coach? Was he 4-time major winner as a coach?
You could do worse. If you're having a first-time coach, you could do worse.
Yes, you could have signed me as a first-time coach. That's not the point. Still a first-time coach. Still a risk.
Yeah.
They decided to they decided to buy the dip on Device.
Yes.
They decided to give Unk another chance. I mean, maybe the will is there, but the wrist fucking isn't. And then now they're like, you know what? You know who needs to carry this ragtag group? Poi, who talent, yeah. It's far from a guaranteed thing. We're not talking about a guy dropping donk numbers in tier 2 and is undeniably in need of promotion. We are talking about a guy who's playing pretty damn well on a team that's had decent results, had a few nice streaks, but hasn't climbed out of tier 2. hasn't really broken that ceiling. We're not talking about a sure thing. So they've taken 4 risks. They've made 4 moves. They've taken 4 risks. At some point, you kind of have to question it. You kind of have to be worried. The saving grace of all this is that maybe they are now signing the youth. Like there is the quote from Messioso that they want to sign young talents at some point. And then there's also the quote that they've got a year to build. Like it's a year to build. A year with, assumingly, like just based off that statement, no pressure, no expectation for any specific result. Which is nice. If you are going to sign a bunch of 19-year-olds, trying to make them work with first-time IGL, first-time coach, washed-up Orpo who's supposed to turn it all around, yeah, there's some potential there. That idea isn't completely ridiculous. The problem is, as I've put it in my tweets, a lot of orgs, a lot of GMs have made the statement, we are going to build for X amount of time. Typically, it's a year. Sometimes it's just a season, but typically it's a full year. Number of times that has come true, where we've gone through a full year with no change, no roster move, no fuck, we missed the major, fuck, we needed money, fuck, we needed to be better than this, is almost none. It almost never happens. And that's why I'm cynical. That's why I'm not super excited. That's why I do think we are heading for an eventual PR disaster in terms of 100 Thieves having to make panic changes, trying something new. Oh, Rain doesn't want IGL anymore. Glaive has decided he wants to be an assistant coach for Mouse NXT and learn the role now that he's fucking tried it at the highest level possible and failed. Like, there's something's going to go wrong, is how I'm feeling about it. I like the Poi edition. If in isolation you told me 100 Thieves are trying to build a team, they're going to build from ragtag pieces and try and, min-max the VRS with the knowledge they have. If you'd have just told me the first signing they make is Poi, I'd have been like, oh, okay, B+, A-. Talented young player, lots of potential. Who are you going to put him with? But you already put together a team of ifs and maybes and oohs. And now you're adding Poi to the mix. I'm like, we gotta be careful now. Who are the final 2 players? Like, are we adding more kids? Are we adding a proven star from somewhere else? Like, what's left to add to this mix? It's, unfortunately for me, just too many risky moves. I always put it out there. I'm always a pro risk move. I'm like, yeah, take a risk on that young player who's mega talented, but may have, maybe a cunt. Try it. Take a risk on, replacing one of your support players or one of your places that's supposed to be more supportive and doesn't have the best roles with a guy who's used to being a star player, and maybe try and change up your system. I'm pro Tanier, I'm pro that risk. This is a lot of fucking risks to ask me to be okay with. Like, this is a step too far. That's my reaction to this. I don't know if you're more optimistic, or I think you seemed more optimistic. I don't know if that's any different to what I'm saying, but that's my take.
Everything you're saying is sound. But in terms of, there are risks, there are big risks. All 4 of the pieces that they have reportedly signed are risks. And, if you flip 4 coins, you're probably not getting 4 heads. It's just the way statistics work. But I also think the upside of each of those risks is also very sound on paper. Like, we've had team constructions that made a lot less sense than this. Like, I'm remembering fucking TSM, like their project under Extas. Extas's TSM project
was a nightmare. But it wasn't potentially not a nightmare. When we saw the roster, we're like, this is
exactly. That's the thing. It's like, okay, you've taken a gamble on these kind of players, like Cypher, Jax, Inters, Modo, and Valde. It's like, okay, you're probably getting good stuff out of Valde, but you're gambling on Modo. You're gambling on the fact that Jax and Inters can still play at a high level. And honestly, at the time, Cypher was a gamble because he was just like fresh out of Paris playoffs.
He was fresh from the Into the Breach run was the entirety of the reason he got signed for that team. Like, it was a great run.
And it's like, so you're gambling a couple of these players, but then it's like, okay, so what the upside is? The upside is Jax and Inters are not shit. The upside is Modo is not shit, and the upside is Cypher is potentially slightly good. Like, it's like, even at that point, it was like, this is not winning anything, and I think that's why Extas left like very early. So in this case anyway, I can see it. Okay, you have a player who's played by the side of Kerrigan for his entire career pretty much, very experienced and a very good teammate. Everybody always says Rain is a very, very, very good teammate. He's the best friend of everybody who joined FaZe pretty much. And that's at least a solid foundation to try to foray into being an IGL. As for Glaive, yeah, there's coaches you could have had. I understand why you'd take a gamble on Glaive as well. As someone, again, he's played like for years under one of the best coaches of all time, won 4 majors. If you're gonna, yes, you could have had a more established coach. If you're gonna gamble on a first-time coach, Glaive is literally the best one you could have gotten, I think. And then, as for Device, yeah, he's slumping. Astralis are also a mess and have been for that entire time. I can absolutely see why, Device might want to play like another year, and he could be very valuable in like the build up from nothing to actually being ranked. And then Poi, extremely talented. He brings a lot outside the server. For Alliance, he was from day one the CT side IGL. Like you are the caller on all of our CT sides from basically day one. And that's insane of a responsibility to give to a 19-year-old when you sign him, when you already have, a caller who does a pretty good job. And in that way, he is a guy who I don't think is afraid to give his opinions. I don't think he's afraid to speak out, which is positive for him. I think it's also positive for 100 Thieves. They get a different perspective. And in that way, weirdly enough, the 19-year-old is a support system for Rain and Glaive as well. So in that way, I think it's good. Like the potential upside for all of these coin flips landing heads is really good. The other thing is, we're called comparing this to the NIP and Perivision run, where they basically had a really rough time making it out of, like NIP had a super rough time making it out of no rank into a decent rank. 2026 is going to look different to 2025 because in 2026 we have more or less regular tier 2 open sign up lands. You can just, and 100 Thieves, they have the budget to just go to all of them, and you need to play 5 games. You need to win 1, then you're on the board. You're probably good, and like by February, I expect this team is going to be playing CCT. Is basically my expectation, and then comes the online grind, and then comes you have to work your way up with prize money and everything. They're not going to be in Cologne. I think they're probably not going to be in Singapore. And also in that 1-year window, you can make changes. I don't think they're necessarily saying in 1 year we're not going to make changes. I just think in 1 year you can make changes. You can work with it for 4 or 5 months, get a ranking, get established. Eventually, maybe you do realize whoever you end up signing as 4th and 5th aren't really working out. Maybe you do need to bring in a different IGL, and Rain is better used elsewhere. Like you can make changes like that. You can make those adjustments without the pressure, because when you don't have the pressure of like I think the expectation of 100 Thieves is they won't play any major in 2026.
That's again, love the idea. Never seen it in practice.
You can make changes. You can make changes.
Never seen it in practice.
Those expectations are still true. It's
the
thing.
I just don't like that. I don't like the idea that I'm building this team, this 5 I'm putting together in January of 2026. By the end of the year, don't consider myself to have fucked anything up if I've not made a major and have made 3 roster moves. Like, so you don't. This initial 5 doesn't matter. Like, you are just throwing shit at the wall.
Well, it does. Okay. Well, no, it does matter because you're trying to get 6 pieces correct. You don't need to get all 6 correct from the start. At this point, it needs to be good enough. You need to focus on the minimum. And the minimum, honestly, in 2026, it's going to be a pretty low bar with how many lands you have to play and the budget they have to play. The low bar is that you need to be able to beat AAV on LAN like 3 times. And that's about it. And then you're in CCT, pretty much. So, at first it needs to be good enough out of those 6 pieces. Then you can start changing them. And as long as you keep getting better, within a year, I can see them being top 30 ranked. Like, end of 2026, I can see them being in top 30. I'm not sure it's going to be this exact roster. But the pieces we have so far, I can see it. It should be good enough. It should be the minimum, is what I'm thinking.
So would you consider it their goal then, that 2027, let's just set this line. The end of 2026, start of 2027, they should be an invite range for the major.
Well, top 32 globally. Yeah, I think it's a fair goal. I don't think yeah. Or at least when I invite range, they still have a couple of events to play. I'll say by the end of 2027, they should be close enough where it's realistic they play their way up there. Like where it's like, yeah, I can see the run. I can see the run happening. So say top 40. Top 40, absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Because this is my problem.
Hmm.
Again. Great conversation. Great PR chat. It's like when a company tells me, you know, we're going to be allowing you to take any amount of time off work you want. There's unlimited PTO. It's always one thing to promise it. It's always one thing to talk about it. But 6 months down the line, let's say, this team hasn't worked out. Let's say 3 of the 6 gambles they'll have taken haven't worked out. 3 of the gambles that have taken, let's say Rain is a decent IGL. Spitball here. Rain's a decent IGL. Poi's a decent star rifler. One of the random other pieces they picked up is good, but Glaive hates coaching. Device is still shit, and the final piece you picked up is terrible. You're 50th in the world. You're grinding online games or traveling to buttfuck nowhere in Romania to play LANs just to try and get into like better range to keep things ticking over. Does anyone want to be in this team? The players still happy? Are the orgs still happy? Also, does anyone want to join to replace these players? Does anyone want to join you on your random long-ass grind? Are you still having to take gambles? There's no sure thing added at that point either. Like, who the fuck is coming out of tier 1 to come play with you? No one. So I'm just saying, this is so many sort of pitfalls and places it can go wrong that it literally has to work faster than the 12-month period they've given. Otherwise, I don't think it works. I literally think it has to work faster. And I don't think it is guaranteed to by any means, just because of the number of unsure pieces and risks you're taking. Because look, and I know you don't have to beat top teams to make this work, but let's say once you do reach the point where you're playing top teams, or you need to, let's say in a game, you need to beat a top 30 team. Device has already gone in terms of his ratings from a 106 down to a 104. He wasn't good before. He's now bad for an AWPer. Like, we're already ringing alarm bells. Like, I like Poi. I hope it works for him. I just think they've taken too many risks.
Yeah, I think it's fair. I think it's fair to think that as well. It kind of does depend on who the other 2 pieces are. Like if they've now got a young talent, they have Poi. So if that was the goal, then yeah, if you end up securing maybe one Gamer Legion player, say like a Rez, yeah, that's fair. Solid pick. Maybe you secure somebody out of Ecstatic. That's maybe less, more of a gamble. But there's players around. You could go for some. I do think maybe they do need something solid, some solid ground to stand on. Somebody who can come in and just do a job. Fucking when Tessus gets kicked, would he be completely out of the question to play with Rain and under Glaive?
It'd be a decent pick if you could get him.
Yeah.
If he wants to come down and do this, if he's not got a better offer, then sure. Yeah. If probably ends up with an offer from, let's say, if NIP are not getting Cairn, they're getting Tessus. If I had someone in mind. If Astralis, for example, need a role player, why couldn't they get Tessus? Like, there's a lot of teams who are playing real events already. Yeah, he could just join. He doesn't have to go through this bullshit.
The question about it, if anybody wants to join, a lot of people have compared it to BC Game. And I think it's a fair comparison.
Yeah, as we can tell, everyone wants to join. Look at the roster.
I just think 100 Thieves as an org and as a management already look so much more attractive than BC Game do. Because BC Game, you're basically going to a team which has a couple of players, a manager, and a bunch of gambling money. And your contract includes that you have to stream a couple of times a month or something like that. Like, that's what you're going to. If you go to 100 Thieves, you're going to an org with like 2 competent esports people managing in Messioso and Sean Garris, like experienced, well-known, relatively competent, with a vision on an org which has a bit more stability than BC Game, who can just bench you outright.
I mean, 100 Thieves famously always been in CS, never had to come in and out, never had money woes, definitely don't have a big gambling sponsor pumping in money right now. Completely different.
I think to a player, it's going to look completely different, is the thing. So for that, yeah, I don't know. It is a series of gambles. We also don't have the full picture. Like, I cannot imagine Messioso of all people would go for a first-time IGL and a first coach on a vibe just because they say they can do it. I cannot imagine that. I have to think that like there's something which makes it less of a risk for them in practice in one way or another. I don't know what that would be, if it's something in their contracts which gives them an easy out, or if there's something in, if they've just, seen something. Like if they've, sat down in the practice server, they've had conversations, they've seen something which tells them it's going to be better. I cannot imagine they've just taken a coin flip and figured, hope this works out, question mark. But
they could have used the logic they see a lot of people have. It's like, oh, Rain played with an IGL that's really good for a long time. And Rain is very old, I'm sorry, experienced. And Rain is liked by people, which irrelevant to being a great IGL. But it's
relevant, but yeah.
It's not really. Like,
it's easier to be an IGL if you're liked, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's not easy. It doesn't make it easy to win, though. It doesn't make it easy to be a good IGL. To be the IGL of a dozen teams, if everyone likes you, sure. To win shit you don't necessarily be liked by everyone. Respected, maybe, but liked is a very different question.
Yeah.
I think this is, too much. But anyway, there's more important moves, like the one that's on the thumbnail in incredible detail. What a fantastic piece of art our thumbnail is today. I just want to say, don't know who made that, but what an artist.
Yes, Spirit have made the moves that Overdrive promised, and Magix and Zontex are back, and slightly unexpected to some, very expected to me, it's not Tenier who is out, it's Chopper. That's why that was expected. But they've reconstructed the Shanghai roster, but they've said Chopper, no, Magix is going to be calling, and we have Tenier now instead.
Yeah, is what I can say out loud right now. I don't know. Let me express this properly. This Team Spirit roster. Actually, I'll ask you a question first. Quack, chat, all of you, feel free to answer this question. Do you think that Magix at IGL is going to call a different game than Chopper did?
The way I've phrased my take is, was Chopper doing anything that Magix can't do? And my answer to that is no. So no.
That may be your belief. That may be your belief.
I think Magix and Halley. I think Magix and Halley are going to play the same game Chopper and Halley did. Yeah.
So do you think he will be better at anything in terms of actual IGLing?
The thing is, no. I don't think so.
Okay, good. That's all I need to establish, just initially.
What?
So that's, from that side of things, the rejoicement, the exuberance I've seen online of Magix at IGL, vibes God, the tactical play has often been at fault, has often been debated, questioned. And we're talking about Magix coming in, who is 6-year veteran, 5-6-year veteran of playing under Chopper, which by logic of Rain will be a great IGL means he's the same IGL. So shit. According to everyone else. I don't think Chopper's a bad IGL, but whatever. It's still Halley's system, quite importantly, for a prep-heavy team. Always been quite prep-heavy. But still, especially to this day, all wins and losses predicated on Halley's prep, according to Halley. From that side of things, I see this as, at best, a net neutral in terms of the leadership and in terms of the style of play and the tactics and strategy, mid-rounding even, all of it, at best, net neutral. The place where this move has a chance to improve is quite simply the Zontic Zwei angle. Now, this has been something people have harped on about for a long time. A long, long time. That the Zwei addition for Magix is actually the part of this whole saga that makes no sense. If Zwei was to... if anyone was to be dropped, it was only should have been Magix, and Tanae should come in for him. We should have kept Zontic. Zontic's fantastic, XYZ. That's been a key narrative. Big Yuumi talking point. Honestly, one of his best. Like, as much as I did like the vision of Zwei Tanae, and I thought I could see ways for it to work. The best sort of rebuttal to it all, and the best sort of approach I've seen to trying to say this roster should have been XYZ, was the Yuumi style approach of Zontix played the roles so well in terms of actual role play. It makes no sense to bring in some tier 2 star to play those sorts of positions. You should have stuck with Zontix. And on that side of things, look, Zwei just had his best event. And everyone had a bit of a moment with her thinking, he's so good. He's so good. And I've seen some people talk about how he should join like a variety of different teams just based off this performance he had and the aces, the multi-kills. Oh, he wasn't anything special, but anyway, they believe he's so good. I think it'll still be a big upgrade to bring Zontix in for Zwei, to play the anchor spots, to play the boring bitch lurk, like to just sit in a corner and wait. I still think there needs to be some adjustment, some improvement in terms of how multiple prongs of attacks are used. So you're still trying to find the donk to near balance. And while you may have minorly improved the fragging from the IGL role to bring Magics back in, and you may have slightly improved the job on the T side in terms of what you have to do to keep everything structured. So in terms of Zwei will want to take fights, Zontix doesn't. I still think you have to answer that question of how do you get Sneer activated? How do you get Sneer to play a role that isn't just what Magic's played under Chopper? Like just sing around, then, oh, I guess you get to try something now. Like, and mostly what Magic's tried was just a hard entry, which it worked great in that one time in Shanghai in the grand final, but aside from that, it just really wasn't that effective a game plan in terms of getting Magic's numbers. So I do think we've done a big dramatic change. We've got a whole photo shoot done for it. Everyone's loving certain aspects of it. I think you're at best a few percentage points better and still a long way from the team you should be when you sign Tanir.
Yeah, there's some truth to that. I don't think this is a huge... On paper, it's not a huge upgrade. I think at best, you're getting a small percent upgrade in the leadership, because I don't think Magix is some sort of genius, but I could see that maybe his mid-round...
He's friends with Donk. That seems to be the entire case anyone makes for me. Like, what?
My big case is that the big upside is chemistry for the entire team, and chemistry shouldn't be underrated. And maybe it is the difference maker. Maybe it is. And maybe yes, the tactics aren't the best, but maybe they are good enough as long as you have the chemistry to pull out crazy mid rounds, as long as you have the chemistry, like the interplayer dynamics to be able to take tough losses and come back on the second map, unlike in Budapest. Like it's maybe that is the difference maker. Maybe that's the difference maker between Spirit winning that semifinal against Vitality, is when they lose Dust 2 in a harrowing fashion after having so and so many map points. Sorry, losing Mirage. They actually win their own map pick of Dust 2, and they actually win that because Donk isn't pissed off as fuck. Like maybe that's one of the difference makers here. And for that reason, I can see it being good. So I see it as an upgrade. I don't get the feeling that this makes Spirit the number one. It's not. Now I'm not thinking, ooh, this is a dangerous upgrade. I don't like. Somebody said the only upgrade they can make is Monacy for Shiro. If they made that move, I would be like, okay, now we're talking. This is like Vitality plus Rops, and we're talking, okay, this is a Spirit that can dethrone Vitality in 2026. I don't get that feeling from re-adding Magix and Zontix, but I do still get a positive feeling. Like, I do still think this is better than what we had.
I think I give a lot of credit and respect to the role of IGL, to where I just struggle with it. I struggle to see it as an outright upgrade. Like I said, best case scenario, you're net neutral on the strats and the leadership. That's best case. Worst case, Magix isn't cut out for leadership. Shocker. Yeah. Everyone's favorite 21-year-old, chonky boy with a mid part isn't actually just some great IGL. He's just buddies with Shiro. With Donk, rather. And that's cool. I'm sure they'll have great streams together. But that's it.
There's a funny timeline which I'm seeing in my head now, which is where you start being outdated, because we have non-IGL IGLs. We have Brawlan. We have people talking about Falcon's Nico. Where this is where the meta starts to shift, and you become outdated in your view of IGLs, because suddenly IGLs, we don't need them. We can just have Brawlan. We can have Magix.
We just have Brawlan with a T side caller, a CT side caller, and this guy is allegedly the IGL. Yes.
Yes. No, it won't happen. But Hunter as well is another one of those. It's happening.
Yeah,
It's
he's only
coming
been
for you.
shit for 6 months, and that's been the main critique. But yeah, if after being shit for 6 months, and sometimes eventually we figure it out, that's not the same thing
It's not
at
happening.
all.
It's not. It's not happening. It's not happening. No, but I did just get this vision where like you put a lot of respect on the IGL role, where some teams are shifting like away from having as putting as much emphasis on the IGL role, and
Yeah, it's just a shame that the teams that have great IGLs won everything this year, right?
but for a couple of months ago we were talking about, oh, you don't need an opera anymore, but nobody's doing that. So like just
Not
because a
as a
meta
long
shifts
time
doesn't
ago,
mean
but yeah.
just because people are starting to think that hey, maybe the meta is changing doesn't mean it actually is. But yeah, it's people are trying things. Anyway, marginal upgrade. We'll see what happens.
Probably Donk will keep dropping stupid numbers. If they figure it out, if Hallie gets it right, they'll win a few events.
They could just
Could
change
work.
Hallie. I'm just like Hallie is not tied to any sort of VRS core. I don't think Hallie is super. Hallie is tethered to this team in the sense this is a pro Hallie move in the sense you're bringing back one of his academy kids. But it's I'm not. I also could see that Hallie just disappears. Like he just what disappears? Okay, I could see Hallie being cut within like genuinely like within a month or two. If there's a coach option who they think fits better, I could see that happening because there are valid criticisms for Hallie.
Bring back
I
Certus.
don't
He's
know.
only 42. I'm sure he really wants to be a coach still.
Yeah, the thing is, like, if and when Spirit do pull the plug on Hallie, the risk is they end up in the Virtus Pro situation where they're just signing random Russian 35-year-olds, hoping one of them is good, and then they just keep changing. Zoma comes in, Pashanoi comes in, Dastan comes in, all these people come in, nothing happens. There's a risk of that, but I could also see it because that's also something like Hallie. Somebody asked Hallie, "What's your Counter-Strike dream team?" And he puts Y in it like 3 days before they cut him, and it's like, and then I'm kind of like, okay, maybe you are getting cut. Like maybe you are also getting cut if you liked Y that much. Maybe that wasn't your decision. But yeah, anyway, besides the point, long term, Hallie's not necessarily part of this team, so
Yeah.
see what happens.
All of this being said, they could have just signed Kioske instead of Tanir. Had their own academy kid playing their games instead of bringing someone in from externally and fucking everything up.
Yeah.
Or they could have brought him in instead of
There's one-
Sway as well. Like they could have tried
There's
one of their
one-
own academy kids.
There's one other interesting thing, which is after they play Blast Bounty, they can also make even more changes because they have brought back players they already had. I think there's a core to be retained here. They just need to play Blast Bounty, I'm pretty sure. So if they could maybe they are planning on signing somebody external. But what the fuck do I know?
Yes.
Anyway, next move.
Finally, he says it. Go.
Last week this wasn't reported even. I think we got the report the same evening, but M80 signed Jeba, as
Yes,
everybody predicted when Hext was out. So yeah, do you like the move?
I don't hate it because I like Jaba.
Hmm.
I think Jaba's a pretty talented guy. I just don't like the aspect of stopping the Hext part of this. Like, Hext is really good. Hext is one of your best players. Massively clutch. Showed up when it mattered. But also just generally was a talent. I don't like the cutting Hext part. So, yeah. I think they'll still get like a B- from me out of this one. Just because they did sign Jaba.
Yeah.
And it seems they wanted Jaba for a while.
Yeah, seems that way.
But look, hey. Swisher ain't shit. Cut Swisher. Bring back Hext.
Yeah. Hext.
That's what
Hext is
I just
versatile.
like Hext. I like Hext as a player. I like him as like an entertaining figure. Like, he's just a dope player. So I'd rather have kept Hext around.
Yeah. Wow. Maybe Swisher saved his spot by playing so well at the major because he was pretty good at the major, I think. What Hext on M80, Hext played more lurky roles, right? Like more Jaba roles.
Hext played Anchor and Hard Lurk, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember when he was on EG, we were also praising him because he was basically the only good part of those teams. And then he was more of an entry guy,
He
I
was.
think.
That was the funny part. On EG,
Yeah,
he was like he played some hard entry stuff. He played some half lurk stuff. On
yeah,
NRG, it's a bit more nebulous what his role was. Like he's already
yeah. So
on NRG, I think, slightly coming off those things, but still doing some harder entry work. Yeah, actually, he does 23% opening attempt rates on T side. Like he's still in his old sort of role. It's just he's still kind of a role player, still doing a bit
yeah,
more anchoring. And then he goes on to this team. M80 does the full transition. He's just hard anchor, hard lurk, is a beast, is clutch.
hmm
Why wouldn't you keep him? And as well, we talk about Swish's performance at the major. At the major, Hex is a 107. You know,
yeah,
he's a 107 at this major. I think Swish is a 107 too. Like, yeah, okay. It's not exactly like there's a big difference.
no, yeah. But like what I was trying to say is Swisher also does play those sort of entry roles. Maybe Hext could have done that, but it's like,
I mean, Swish is more of just a pack trader guy, but yeah, okay. Yes, Hex
yeah.
could
Well,
have done
anyway.
that job. You're not wrong in that sense. Hex could have done that
Yeah.
job as well. It's just, yeah, CT side Swisher has more of the roles, more of the slightly more active roles, I guess. As I don't have any concern putting Hex in those either. I've seen him do everything.
No.
Or I just put Jaba in more active roles. Like, I just think those two guys are so young. You're in a scene where there isn't a lot of young talent. If you could have kept both, I think M80 had been a slightly more astute move. Not that I think Swish is bad, but again, he's 27, and those guys are much younger. I would have liked that to be their go-to.
Yeah. Well, it's not a bad move. I'm not massively impressed. Jaba struggles on LAN. Did in wildcard always. They spoke about it. It was like an open thing. His biggest weakness is he played great in America. Didn't play that well when they went to LAN.
Real talk.
And that's
Neither did Hext. Like his actual like
fair.
this year, just his numbers do fall off
Yeah.
a cliff against the big teams. He doesn't have that many maps against the big teams versus compared to his like top 50/NA play because of the just they weren't qualifying for a lot of stuff. And then when they did, they often got utterly fucking annihilated outside of Blast London. So yeah, there is that factor.
It's just the thing of M80 just don't really play in America. They mostly at this point they're high ranked now. They're mostly playing internationally. So
Now, yes.
yes, but now is when Jaba is here. So that's like it's yeah. Okay, anyway, that's about it. BC Game, they've made another change since last week. Satsanito is out and they are rumored to be interested in Heroic's core. And there's there was an interesting before Spirit confirmed the changes. There was an interesting thing that could have happened, which was if Tenier was out, like if Zwei and Tenier were out of Spirit, what you could have done is Heroic could have sold either Youngster or Xfloud to BC Game, and then BC Game sign LNZ, one of those two, and Tenier, and could have got a core while Heroic retained theirs. Which I thought, honestly, for a brief bit, I thought that's what was going to happen, but it didn't happen. But they are still interested in, rumored to be interested in a Heroic core, according to Overdrive, which
just a Heroic core, right?
They just want the points, yeah. But LNZ is available, and they do need a caller.
And
I do think this sort of makes sense because we had the early reports that Susp was coming in for Youngster, but then now we've also had rumors that Jugs would be coming in for Youngster in Heroic, and I'm kind of thinking, okay, so maybe that's a sign they're doing a double move. Maybe Susp and Jugs are coming in, and BC Game want to buy Youngster and Xfloud along with LNZ. It's not the worst thing. Except for Heroic. It sucks because they get no ranking.
Yeah, I mean, so it's a problem for Heroic. Don't worry, guys. They can just go to lands and it'll be fine. Can I get the Heroic core on this team and they keep Andu and cut Electronic? In that case, I fuck with it. If not, it's still dead.
I think the move, unfortunately, is that Andu would be getting cut. Unfortunately, the play probably would be that Andu is getting cut.
Yeah, no, I mean, in reality, BC Game have been such a mess, they will cut their second best player just to make room for Heroic's core. But that's fine. as a roster move, it's at least core securing, and will jump them up like 40, 50 spaces in VRS. That's a huge change. It's better for us because Simple gets to play some real games, and since Electronic has joined, Simple has looked so utterly dogshit on BC Game that something has to change. He was gone from dropping 130s to 101. Which you don't even need to watch the games to know it's a dramatic fall off. It's been a nightmare, and like a part of it is he seems utterly uninterested, as do all veteran, long-time pros who've played many LANs. They all seem very uninterested when they have to come to online grind. But hey, just sign 2 more of them. It's fine. It's fine, 100 Thieves. They'll be really interested and motivated this time. So hopefully they sign a core that gets them to LAN. Because otherwise, this might be the end of Simple.
It seems that they have something. Simple posted on Telegram yesterday, starting to celebrate tomorrow for the next season, and he's gonna stream all of these days as he prepares, as he starts to practice once again for the next season. But yeah, anyway, whatever. Speaking of players, you can sign Degster as a free agent. Would you put him anywhere?
Dexter, there's a couple places he can go that are not offensive to me. Unfortunately, I didn't want this to be true, but it is true. FaZe is one of them. I think there are better options for FaZe, but if FaZe did sign Dexter, it wouldn't be the end of the world. Otherwise, I wouldn't cry if he went to G2. Because I, unlike the few cope artists out there, Hawker, don't think Sunpice is any good. Because pistol rounds do happen, rifle rounds do happen a lot, and even the AWP play is nothing too remarkable just because of playstyle. So yeah, I'd take Dexter on G2, I'd take Dexter on FaZe. In real terms, he shouldn't be going that high, considering how bad he was, but the AWP market is so shit. Just so shit. Why not?
Yeah. How about Liquid?
Yeah, it could do worse. Like, Liquid could do worse. So, yeah, they have been doing worse for the most part.
Yeah, I think here's a funny timeline. He joins Hotu with Norbert, and and turns them into a tier 1 team.
Well, if he signs, let's say if he signs a 1-month contract, or like 2-month contract, and just gives it a shot because no one wants him, yeah, do it. Take a risk. Like, if by January, whatever the fuck, when they play, January 8th or 10th is when they actually play the first games of Bounty. If by then he doesn't have a team, he should join Hotu. I agree.
How about Virtus Pro? Business expendable still?
Nah.
Yep. Anyway,
just no need to elaborate on that. Just nah.
Those are the
this.
moves. I felt like we had a lot of shuffling this week.
We just had big deal shuffles. We didn't have that many big deal shuffles.
I mean, this is the one I maybe should have put in was Legacy no longer have a coach. Chucky is out, which is just it's probably the 8th Brazilian team that Chucky has coached, and he's probably going to be replaced by one of the other 16 coaches that coach every Brazilian team and have done since the pandemic. So, yeah, look forward to that signing. GXX is benched on AM. Arc Red have parted ways with Chill.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
Exciting, I know.
That's a big one.
Actually, no. Okay, hang on. This is one. I didn't notice this because you've talked about this guy. Demente is out of all-inners.
Wait, what? The one guy who's always benched. All in on all-inners is no longer all in?
Yeah.
What?
He's benched. Yes.
Oh, R.I.P. my boy. Just look at him. Is he 35? Is he 6? No one knows.
Yeah, he could be Hobbit's big brother or child.
Yeah, he's such a confusing man to look at, but he's pretty good for all-inners. Like, sure, he's playing like shitty events, and everyone assumes everyone's match fixing, but he's a part of the story, the narrative. When you follow Molodoy and Alkaren, like at some point, any of the Kazakh talents you talk about that are worth a damn have played with Dementa. Oh, I hope he's not cheating or match fixing. That'd be a shame. Because look at that little boy / grown-ass man.
Yeah, Mousquetaires has disbanded. Do you care about this team despite because of being same nationality?
Seeing as I do share nationality with the team, I am forced to be aware of their existence. They are shit though, so I don't care.
We are all forced to be aware. I don't understand. There must have been an extremely slow news day the other day because HLTV wrote an article titled "Mousquetaires disband," as if any of us are supposed to care. Like, I've never have Mousquetaires existed in like my mind except for when HLTV for some reason write about them. And it's never that they won anything. It's always they exist. They make a roster change
Yes.
and they disband. Fucking
But no one cares. Who cares?
that must have been an amazingly slow news day, 100%. Like, I get Jax is a major finalist. I get that. We do not care. Like, stop writing about them.
All I can think about now in my head is that Mousquetaire, who care, it's just a rhyme that MF Doom would have used at some point.
That's true. That's true. He would. Shane is on All Go now, which means that they have Nukier, Shane,
Big cape on his
Scrob.
back, swishing swords. Mousquetaire, who cares anywhere?
Yes! Yes!
Yeah, anyway.
Jax as the comic book hero. And Nemesis Impact no longer exists, which is, again...
Meow, meow, meow,
I mean,
meow.
Yeah. Raquel, KOD, and Monkey D. Julie are now available. And Giuliano is good.
So
still,
yes, Rachel should be signed by someone. Her past 3 months may not be good, but she was goated with the sauce on Let Her Cook. Banged out some lands. Yeah, should be signed by someone. Unfortunately, after Astra betrayed the national pride of France and went and joined a team that could actually win Impact, it's kind of been downhill for everyone else, even though some of them were pretty damn good players on that team. Most importantly, Rachel was really fucking good. So would like to see some of these players bounce back and find another roster, but for now, they just weren't that good.
Ramsin played pretty good, surprisingly good. But I did just see one of their 2 wins in their entire existence as a team was over Big Keepa.
Noticing.
Noticing. This anyway, that is genuinely all the shuffles. I don't think there's a single one on the page I didn't mention. So
okay.
Properly Eternal.
Okay, that's the Eternal Shuffle. Great. Let's wrap the show up with the usual finisher that we go for. It is Prospects of the Week. Quackit, who have you selected, and why is it not the best performing Swede of the week?
Swedes didn't really play, and when they played poorly. I think Eyeballers were supposed to win one of the online events, but they got knocked out in the second game. So to Oramund or whatever they're called.
That's exactly what they're called.
Yes, I picked Nicodian because they played. Mouse NXT played in one event this week, and it was Dracula, and they played pretty good. They played the group stage, which a lot of other teams didn't. They won that group stage with 2 best-of-1 wins over Fingers Crossed, which is the Lithuanian team, I think, with Magila, yes. And then they beat Illwill, which is the mixed team with Jorko.
Yeah, and a bunch of people you've heard of, like Fostar, but they
but
most importantly, Jorko.
Jorko, Haji, Nemanja. Yeah. And so they won their group, they go into playoffs, they lose 1-2 against Venom, and then they beat Inner Circle 2-1, and Nicodian was pretty big. And then they lose to Fnatic. Also, again, 1-2. Like, they win a double overtime Dust 2 map against Fnatic. But Nicodian is... this entire roster is exciting. I think you could have picked any of them, but Nicodian showed up on my stats sheet. 17 years old, as this team is very, very young. Coached by LMBT. And yeah, those are quite promising results. I do like the way this Mouse NXT project has been going. I did think, with the players they signed, I did think they might just end up being like Young Ninjas, playing United 21 unranked cups and occasionally showing up on HLTV once in a blue moon. But they've actually been grinding out these LAN events, and that's pretty cool. I like that. So I think they're starting to build a little VRS, a little bit of a VRS rank off of that. Yep, they're inside the top 100 with this event, and yeah, Nicodian is one of the exciting players on the team. At this point, it's so early that all of them are exciting for different reasons. But yeah, Nicodian, good week for him, a good event for him.
Yeah, I've seen people online be like, Joey's awesome. And so I was like, waiting for that to happen. Took a while. Zelex, he was one of the guys, he's one of the oldest standing players on this team. He wasn't very good around the time PR was on the team, but he was just around. And then he did stand and stint that was terrible. But for a long time, there was no real full team. And so eventually they put one together, and he's finally shining a little bit. He's doing something. So I'm glad. But Nicodian, yeah, banger event. He really, I think aside from Opdust, everyone on this team's had moments, I think, of the last sort of 2 months. And this is one of the biggest ones for Nicodian. Yeah, so a solid pick. A guy who, wasn't really on my radar before and doesn't necessarily like come flying or screaming onto it. But I'm just keeping track of this team because they are super young. He's 17. It's nice to play well at LAN, especially. Let's put it that way.
You care about Barcelona's junior team. Like if you care about them, and this is the Barcelona Academy. Mouse NXT is the Barcelona Academy. These players are worth keeping track of, even if they don't end up
historically. Yeah, they are La Marca or whatever it's called.
Something like that.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on them. Fingers crossed they at some point get promoted, because the last 2 crops of players they've had just haven't been promoted at all. Some have just been La Masia, thank you. Some of them have just been scattered into the wind, and some have gone on to Gamer Legion, for example. Like Jorko was on Mouse NXT at one point. He's not even related to the team anymore. PR was on there. Bermilov touched the team at some point. It's been a weird period. The QQ Nexus Krizen era, not much has come out of it, but Krizen's now, IGL for what he was for OG, and now is he still a free agent? Did I forget a signing somewhere? I think he's still a free agent. Krizen.
No, Heroic.
Oh, he's a Heroic now. Yeah, right. So you see, players, they're still producing good players. Nechu was on here, and they're just going to other places. They're not going to the main team. So maybe this will be the roster that gets left alone for long enough, develops well enough, develops strongly enough that they get maybe a promo at some point if they need it. We'll see. Until then, we'll just be watching them play Tier 2 and speculating. Speculating.
Indeed.
I said it 3 times. Nancy Pelosi did not appear. Weird. That internet rumor was a lie. Okay. My pick for Prospect of the Week is Tenzi. He plays on X-Bitera. They're now called Magic, I believe. The team, it's him. He's still there with Masval, who's another big name people like. He's a bit outside of prospect range, Masval, but yeah, Tenzi, pretty huge week. He does a bit of everything on the rifle, but he's kind of just a star. He gets to trade, he gets to open when it's favorable, he gets to close a bit. Talented little guy. This team have been on a fairly solid run this year. Like, they've not been winning everything, but as Bitera, they kind of climbed out of advanced. They've played some CCTs. They finished top 2, is it, at Nodwin? Yeah, top 2 at Nodwin this last week, and that's what gets him this placement. He drops a 137 with big performances against even Oromund, who beat them in the final, but they played Arc Red, Johnny Speeds, and Gun 5 on the way there. At least this week. I think there's more games involved. So they're grinding. He's a part of the reason why they're able to grind and make that progress. They probably will get picked up at some point. They are 53rd in the world. I can imagine some org will want that. Like, not a huge org, but someone small will pick up the core of this team and try to fit it all together again. Because they are pretty damn talented. So yeah. Tenzi, a player to watch, 20 years old. Frags like a motherfucker. Let's go.
Yeah. This Magic team, they actually did... Yeah, they did very well in Nodwin. Better than expected even, I think. Since...
yeah, they're not supposed to be in that grand final, but they did make it.
Yeah, they did make it. And I think even with Bitera, one of their final events, it was weird that they got dropped, because one of their final events, I think they did play really well. Yeah, it was the CCT event they played. Series 10.
Yeah, they lost the final to Big. Is that the one?
That as well.
Semi-final?
Yeah, it was a semi-final. Yeah, because I remember we talked about it when... No, they lost to Nuclear Tigres. But like, that's also an event where they beat 500, they beat Cybershock. This is punching upwards for Batera, and yeah, Tenzi, one of the guys who keep who are looking up. It's looking up for him, and that's cool. Wasn't this guy on? They would have been called something else at that point. No,
He's
he
on
didn't
Rust
play
Tech
with.
before, but that's
Yeah, he didn't play with Nota on Rush B, right?
no.
No, okay. I'm thinking of somebody else. Okay. But yeah, he
You're
impressed on
thinking of
Batera.
Zinni?
And,
Are you thinking it's
yeah, I think no, Texi is the one I'm thinking of.
Texi's Nota's twin brother?
Yes.
So, no, that's not him.
Yes. No.
Not too dissimilar. If you squint from a distance, maybe. But
If you squint from a distance, yeah. Anyway, nice. It looks like he's had a good week.
He has, and he's generally had a good year. I think this core has had a good year. Like 2025, yeah, Tenzi's 113 rating, like solid year. Masval's on 120. That's why everyone's so excited. He's basically everyone's current pick to beat Tanir again is Masval. That's kind of where the excitement's coming from.
Yeah.
But Tenzi, yeah, more on the opening, more raw. Very impressive, though.
Yeah.
Okay. That's going to do it. Solid 2 hours on a week where no real Counter-Strike was played. We're still talking about everything. We're covering the small cups. We're covering all the roster moves. Next week will be Retake the Year. The big one. Members, watch out for the Q&A post I'll be putting up, because at the end of the year we also do a big Q&A. So be sure to become a member if you want to ask a question in that Q&A. But also, we'll be doing our top 25 probably each. Depends on
top
how
20
we feel.
Plus honorable mentions, yeah.
Yeah, whatever. We'll be doing AWP of the Year, Coach of the Year, Rookie of the Year, Prospect of the Year, whatever the fuck of the year.
All of it.
We'll be doing a lot of stuff. The last year's show was 3 hours. This year's show probably be longer.
Yeah, we did predictions at the start of the year. I think we should look at those as well.
We should go back and check those out. They're probably going to be awful, because I don't think any of us predicted the Vitality era, and that's going to ruin most predictions.
I know what my prediction was. And
Did you have a prediction that
wrong.
Big was top 3 or some bullshit like that?
No, that was the year before. That was the year before. No, this year was it was about North America, which says it all.
Cannot be good unless you predicted no wins for them. But yeah, thank you for tuning in.
Bold.
Thank you for tuning in live. If you're watching on the VOD and you made it this far, you're our hero. We'll see you next time. If you're leaving a comment, tell us why you believe that. I don't know, anything. Pick one. It's free reign. You get to pick whatever you want.
Which number on the ranking is your boundary for tier 2? Just pick a number.
Oh, that's a good choice. Yeah, good shout.
Yeah,
good shout. But okay, that'll be all for this one. Yep. Bye bye.